Hello, this is Deanna Dwell, owner of Heal in Motion PT, and you are watching my YouTube channel, set up especially during this coronavirus quarantine time so that all of my clients have something to do at home. So if you are my client, you know I'm very strict on form, and that is because I don't want you to injure yourself. Even though I'm a PT, I don't want to have to fix you. I want to keep you away from injury. And also I want you to use the muscles that are more difficult to get to, the muscles that you don't normally use in your day-to-day life. The goal is to try to make you stronger so that when you go about your day-to-day life, you feel better. And that's what we're doing. So hopefully you've already watched a warm-up video or you've done some sort of warm-up for yourself, maybe a nice brisk walk outside, including a few hills, please. And we are going to work on arms today. Okay, so I'm going to turn on some music. I'm going to show you what you need. Music. I guess we don't need music yet. I have a rubber tube, okay? It is just because it's simple. Most people have a theraband of some sort at home. If you don't, just go online and buy something. Now is the time. It's kind of nice to get a roll so you can cut it how you want. The tubing is a little easier to grip, but it's fine if you have a theraband too. And then I bought this strap especially. It has a knob on one end so that I can put it through the doorway. And this is going to allow me to use the strap, any kind of tubing hung into the doorway. Okay, if you don't have it, I've simply tied a knot on one end of my theraband and I can also put that in the doorway. So when the door closes, it keeps one end in, but then I'm left with one strap. So you have to figure it out. Afraid you have to use your brains, but that's going to be some stuff that we do stuck into a doorway. The other things you're going to need are some weights. Come on back here. I have chosen a 3, 5, 8, and a 10. These are hand weights. Buy them if you don't have them. If you're my client, you can come to my house and I can lay them outside 6 feet away from any human, and you can pick up the ones we use in class. Otherwise, you can use variable therabands, but it's a little more difficult to find the point of attachment. This uses gravity. That is what you're fighting against when you hold a hand dumbbell. When you have a theraband, you're fighting against whatever you've tied it to. And that's not always gravity. It depends on where it's attached. So this class, I'm using these. If you need a variable, give me a call. I do online sessions too. All right. You've already warmed up. So we're ready to start with some music. We got 80s today, okay? I'm going to put this in my doorway and get ready already. All right. Grab a heavy one and a light one, or medium. I've got my 5 and my 3. Okay? Straight up and down. Okay, as you get started, I want your stance to be in your heels. Weight is in your heels. Okay? I've got my knees soft, not bent, just soft. If you're like many people, your knees might knock in. I want you to shine them out. Okay, so they're a little soft and you shine that kneecap out. Okay, that should be about 10 reps. Swap. Go again. Keep going. I'm going to turn the music down just a little. There. I know you probably hear me through the face mic, but I can't even hear myself. All right, if you have taken a class with me, you know I'm horrible at counting because I talk to you. So if you are concerned about counting, count for yourself. Who knows when I'm going to stop? That should be about 10. Swap my weights again. My 3 goes in my 5 hand, my 5 is there, out to the side. So I've been doing this a little while, and I tend to lift weights in the gym as well. So I would generally use a 5 and an 8. My 5 would be my light, my 8 would be my heavy. So this is sort of even beginner might have a hard time with a 5 and a 3. You choose, but please make it so that you can do the move really accurately and you don't compensate, right? You don't like lifting up to get it or bending your elbows to get it up. You got nice straight arms, you can do this. And if not, drop the bloody weights, just do it with your hands. That's 10, I'm sure. Swap. Good. Now, why do we do one light, one heavy? Good question. It's because I didn't have enough money or space to buy 2 weights of everything for everybody, okay? I'm conservative. And this tires out one arm and works the other. Then you swap, one that's a little tired gets pushed a little farther. That's why, okay? You've got 10. All right, so you did anterior deltoid, lateral deltoid. Now we're going to lean forward so that you can get to the back, posterior deltoid. Anybody that has backache in my class, I ask them to do this one arm only. So you take your heavy weight and you would do your heavy one. My other hand is resting on my thigh and I'm giving myself support. If you don't have any back issues, use your core and do it with 2 arms. Right? So I'm using my core now because my body is so far forward of my feet. I have to use my core. This is how people injure their back when they're reaching for something like a pot in front of them and they have to pick it up. So you have to either have strong enough core to sustain it or support yourself. And you'll get there, but don't hurt yourself in the meantime. I swapped hands, we did 10. Now we're doing the next set of 10. Right, if you note, my head is in line with my body. So although every once in a while I have to lift up to look at you and the camera, I'm generally looking about 2 or 3 feet in front of my toes. I'm not totally parallel to the floor, but if I get too high up, I'm going to use the same muscle I already did. So in the ideal world, actually, you could be a little more parallel. It's pretty tough on the back, though. Surely that's 10, right? And don't call me Shirley. I know the joke. All right, come back up. You're going to do another round of those, okay? But we're moving on for now. Overhead press. I've gone back to light and heavy. Overhead press. Now I'm going to kneel just so you can see where I'm going with this. It's not right overhead. That's a little too easy. And it arches my back, right? So I'm going like into that overhead bin of all the airlines that have stopped running. Right? Overhead bin. It's going to feel like, oh, those were the old days when we used to lift suitcases in the overhead bin. Because the weight is out in front of me and I've got a long lever, this works my core. I'm tightening my core throughout this. If I don't, it will probably hurt my back. That should be 10 or thereabouts. Go again. Why 10? Well, it's because I've got a moderate weight right now. If I want to go with a lighter weight, I might go a little faster and go for 15. Then I'm going to work my cardiovascular and raise my metabolism. If I want to go for a heavier weight, I might only get to 6 to 8 reps, hopefully at least 8. And it'll be hard, and I'll need a little rest in between. So those are perfect variations. This is just what I'm doing right now. All right, that was a good overhead bin. So you're in standing still, okay? It's a little more challenging. When you do your second round, I want you to change your balance a little bit. I want you to challenge yourself a little bit. So you're going up and down again, and you've got a little bit change in your feet. So while you're doing this, I'm going to show you variable levels of the feet. I think I might need to aim the camera down. There you go. Oops, now it's totally crooked. This is what it's like filming at home on a Sunday. So as you're doing your workout, you had one foot in front of the other, or you're standing on one foot. Okay? It's probably time to change those weights. So put the heavy in the other hand, light in the other hand. Another way is called Romberg. So one foot is slightly ahead of the other. Okay? Tandem is one. That's some nice moderate level. Single leg is another. Okay? It's just that we need to work more things than one. This might be all you do today. I need you to feel worked by the time we're done with this. All right, that should be 10. All right, so you got the foot understanding. Now you're out to the side. So you're going to choose one. Maybe your Romberg. Maybe that's where you feel comfortable. If you can't do Romberg, no big deal. Go ahead, go back to your nice wide stance and feel safe. This is just for those that are ready for a challenge. There's tandem, or there's single foot. Now, one more thing that might challenge me is if I did one arm and then the other. Can you see how my body wants to waggle side to side? Okay, so that's another way to challenge yourself in your balance. Okay, you're finishing off that. That should be that round of 10. Other foot, other arm. So even if you're in Romberg or tandem, make sure you change the foot that you're weight bearing on. Usually you're weight bearing on the back foot. Keep going. I'm just changing the camera so it's back looking at me. Oh, this is a good song. I got the 80s on because I like the 80s. It had fun, happy music. All right, that's done about 10, right? Let's lean forward, get those posterior. There's not really any way to challenge your balance on this one. Sorry about that. If you want to get your heart rate up a little more, you could incorporate a little bit of a lunge. So I could do a curtsy and back, curtsy and back, right? You got to be careful when you add in too many moves to one thing. It always looks cool and people like, sorry to say it, but a lot of men on the YouTube videos do very complicated moves. But then they miss out on what the point was. We're trying to build the shoulders here. That should be 10. Change your weights over. Relax if you need it. Good. Remember, if my back hurts at all, I'm just going to rest one hand, do one hand only. I'm going to tighten my core. Right, I got my belly pulled in, like when my brother used to say, get ready, I'm going to punch you. He was really kind. He always warned me. This is a good workout. I wouldn't have done any of this without you guys today. Thank you very much. All right, that should be about 10. Should have a little counter here with me, maybe my daughter. All right, what do we have next? Overhead press. Okay, overhead press. If I have a little balance issue, I might just do it nice and simple, right? It's going ahead of me, right? If you want to add in a little bit, you're standing on one foot. Heck, you could do a squat and push up, right? It all depends on what you're trying to get from this today. If you've got enough stability, go for it. Bust your butt, I don't care. I'm not even going to be there to watch it. Other side. Okay, so again, you're just going forward. You don't have to do anything fancy. But if you want to make it a little harder, stand on one foot or do a tandem. Or if you're going for gold, lunge up. Man, you guys are going to kill me. Keep your form. Make sure you're doing it with nice shape. Otherwise, just go back to the basics. All right, Shirley, that's 10. I'm dying. Woo! All right, put your weights down for a minute. Just stretch out a little, taking your arm across. You just worked your deltoids, all right? They're in a deltoid shape, like a triangle, but there's many of them. They're in the front, they're lateral, they're posterior. And when we did the overhead press, we were getting the caps, right? Nice, yummy caps. You stretched them out a little bit. Now we're gonna do biceps, triceps. So I want you to get a heavier weight, please. As heavy as you can get. All right, you can always stop. I think I'm gonna do an 8 and a 10, because that's what I have here. Yeah, so usually in a weight room, I might lift, say, 20 to 22.5. I don't wanna go that heavy, because I'm gonna be doing so many reps. I don't wanna go that heavy. So we're doing a basic bicep curl. There's a lot of different ways to work biceps. This one uses my brachioradialis. It's another muscle that crosses over my elbow. That's why I'm twisting. You can go simply with bicep only and not twist. It's harder, all right? If you couldn't see from the front, my elbow is slightly ahead of my waistline, all right? It's easy if I let my elbow come back. All right, that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for you using your core, tight knee, tight tummy. Knees are shining out a little bit if you tend to be knock knee. If you tend to be the bow-legged kind of person, shine your knees in, of course. All right, that should be 10. Swap. Okay, so straight bicep curls, or you use brachioradialis. You really don't want to wear and tear too much at the elbow, so do what feels right. Don't cause yourself pain. And notice there's no swinging of my torso. If I'm swinging, it's too heavy for me. And I'm having to use the momentum on my body. No swinging. You guys are gonna laugh because I just never count, and I probably did like 20 on the last side, and I'm doing 8 here. Apologies in advance. All right, that was a basic curl, right? Brachioradialis, add it in. Now triceps. I'm gonna go swap again. Okay, I'm gonna cock myself forward and elbows back and extend straight. Now everybody's tricep strength is a little bit different. I've been using my triceps a lot in the last year, so they're pretty strong. I'm okay with a 10 and an 8, but you might need to back off to that 5 and 3. Depends on where you're starting from. Good. I'm not as parallel to the floor as I was before, but close to it, using my tummy. Again, if I have any back pain, I'm just going to support myself with one hand on my thigh, right? All right, swapping weights. Cock those elbows back. My head is in line with my body. Tummy's pulled in. My shoulder blades are squeezed back a little bit. If you can see that, squeezed back a little bit. Woo, it's a nice sweat going on. Maybe 3 more. Whew. All right, shake it out. Give it a little break if you need it. I need a little tissue. Okay. Now the second step of biceps, I'm going to make it a little different, okay? I'm going to ask you to isometrically hold one bicep, the light one, while you lift the heavy one, okay? Any elbow irritation and you're going to be twisting it, or maybe not even doing this with a weight if you really have elbow irritation, okay? Otherwise, challenge yourself. In fact, I'm going to challenge myself so much, I'm going to send it right out there, and I'm going to stand on one damn foot. All right? That way I get my ankle work in at the same time as my core, at the same time as my bicep. All right, that should be about 10. Let's change over. All right, I got an isometric hold on the light one. That arm's a little fatigued, but try to keep it there. If you've got a mirror, you can really watch it. Again, feel free to twist, right? Or feel free to make it a little harder. Straight out, straight in. Stepping on the other leg. If you want to add to this, totally up to you. Good, you can tell I'm getting tired because I'm not talking as much, huh? Lucky you. All right, is that about 10? All right. Again, if you had a heavier weight, you might have only done 8. Feel free to go as hard as you want to go. I don't care, as long as your body and your shape didn't change, as long as you could support it. And again, light ones too. If you have nothing, just resist yourself, right? Just pull up and imagine someone stopping you. It's going to work wonders. Isometric contraction works really well. All right, we're moving on. So find your doorway. I'll have to move the camera a little bit. I've got a closet here. That's what I'm going to use. There we go. All right, now the reason why I came up with this, you could have finished with that. If you want, you can pause this tape. You can stretch out your shoulders a little bit and feel like you did something good, right? Because you got all the deltoids, the bicep, the tricep, no problem. But if you want to get a little bit more out of this, this will allow us to get some more back, okay? So we're going to grab it like a rope, and I'm going to pull it Oh, shoot, I didn't count for that. Yeah, I guess your door has to be kind of a latched door. I'll have to hold this with one foot. All right. So I'm going to pull it, and my finished position is kind of like when the cops say, hey, what have you got on you? And you say, nothing. Nothing, honey. Okay, so your end position is here. I'm going through all of the shoulder blade movement when I get there. Okay, so if you watch my shoulder blades, they pull back, down and in, and then external rotation. Okay, keep going. You can do about 10. Personally, this band is too light, and my door is too movable. But I'd like this to be a nice, strong one where you've got something pretty heavy, where you can get a nice pull back. All right. You've done 10 of those. Now turn yourself around. Okay, arms straight out. If you push down a little bit, you're going to find a little tension. Now you're going to simply slide forward and back with your shoulder blades. This works the serratus anterior. Anterior is front, serratus is like a serrated knife, a little muscle that attaches to your ribs underneath your armpits. So I'm doing shoulder blade motions, only my shoulder blades. You don't see my elbows moving, right? My arms are not getting higher. Then I'm going to hold it out there and make little circles. This is not a big muscle. This is a small muscle, but it's one that you need to start to wake up so you can do those push-ups better. Change direction. Good. Now, a few other ones I can do in this direction, just for later. I'm not going to do them today, if my door will stay closed. Is I could lean forward a little bit, and I could open up, get a chest stretch, and then close again. Chest stretch, and close again, right? I have one knee in front of me because I got to keep the door closed with the other foot. But you can sample out. I would hate for you to fall down, so make sure you got enough pressure on the band to hold you. You could also go up and down here. And you could make circles both directions, okay? These are just a few extra things you could do. I'm not going to do those today. What we're going to do is open this up, take your doorknob down a little lower. Okay, again, I'm holding my door closed because it's a closet. And you're going to do a little low row here. Row. In the ideal world, I'm all the way forward and I pull my shoulder blades back. Right, I'll show you what my shoulder blades are doing. Pulling back. All right. When you're finished with 10 of those, let's do it long. So now your arms are long and they pull behind you. Try to keep your wrists so that the knuckles are facing the floor so you don't cock your wrists, but you squeeze those shoulder blades behind you. Good. All right, once you've done about 10 of those, take your band, and we're going to finish up with a little external rotation. Okay? My palms are either facing up, a thumbs up, or palms up. External rotation. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut my own head off. This is always fun to do in a little balance challenge position. You know, you could get a little kick in, you could just stand on one leg, tandem. Depends on what kind of band you have. If you have an easy one, you should get all the way out to the end of your range. I'm a little tight. Most people can go maybe just a little bit farther than I can. I'm just a little on the tight side. Otherwise, you can go with a nice light one. Now I'm going to do one arm only. That way you can really focus on asymmetries. Is this hand and arm getting out? Notice I'm trying not to cock my wrist, keeping the fist, thumb toward the ceiling. Ooh, that's a nice burn. I gotta move on before I deteriorate in front of the camera. I've changed legs a few times. You don't have to do the balance challenge, it's just something extra. All right. Okay, that's enough work. I'm gonna refocus the camera. We're just gonna stretch it out a little bit with around roll down. Oh, you don't need to see everything there. Okay. Nice job, right? You got your arms worked. They should feel hot. They should feel good. The joints should not feel any pain, okay? Joint pain, no good. Muscle pain, yes. In fact, in 2 days from now, if you text me and you tell me you're more sore, I'll be very proud of you. Okay, take a breath in, feet facing forward. Stretch, let your arms melt down. Maybe take your hands behind your back, stretch. Good, and when you're ready, roll on down. Pause at the bottom, nice soft knees, and roll back up. Restacking your vertebrae, setting yourself up for the rest of your amazing day. Thank you. See you next time.